Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on board. The sortie has ended, the plane has landed, and those are the first pictures that are coming in, and we're just playing out those pictures. Yeah, there it is. That's the plane with the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in it. It was a 25-minute sortie that's come to an end. That marks India receiving Indian Air Force's first Rafale fighter jet from France. And as we come to the end of this broadcast, I just want to get in the final words of the views of both Air Marshal Sinha and Air Marshal Ahluwalia. Air Marshal Sinha, to you first. As we end this broadcast, sir, and you look at those pictures, what's the message that you're going to take away? If you can sum that up in 30 seconds.
It's a historic day for the Indian Air Force, receiving the Rafale on the Indian Air Force Day, and that too on a Vijayadashmi. And it adds great strength to our capabilities, which will add to our deterrence, and if required, it will overwhelm our adversaries if required.
Yeah. Air Marshal Ahluwalia.
This is an acceptance of the government of the need of a strong air force, which means strong air power. This is a recognition that in future any conflict will start with air power and will end with air power. And it is necessary and mandatory to ensure that air power gets the capability that it deserves to take us into the next 20 years, to take us with the fighting capability that we need to protect our borders, to protect our air, and to protect our security in the dangerous geopolitical situation that occurs today and is likely to get only worse in the future.
Look at that. That's the visual that we'll take a break with. The pictures of the Rafale, India's Rafale, been handed over to India, will be landing in India in May 2020. Cutting across straight live to the Merignac Airbase in Bordeaux, France. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh showing the thumbs up to the media contingent. His 25-minute sortie. Oh, he's put his aviators back on and he's going to get off the cockpit. It's one hell of a sortie that he's had in the skies after being handed over the first Rafale jet. He's smiling, he's all smiles, speaking to the officers there with him who are helping him exit the cockpit. And he's just about to get off. That's Defence Minister Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, who's received the Indian Air Force's first Rafale fighter jet. He was taken on a sortie by the lead test pilot of Dassault Aviation. Now he was in the front seat of that cockpit. Okay, that's Rajnath Singh. Okay, he's just about to get up. It was a 35-minute sortie in the skies above the Merignac Airbase. That's also where the Dassault Aviation hangars are based and operates from. Thumbs up before the sortie and after landing. Okay. That's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Okay, all smiles, aviator back on, just getting down, and Indian officers there greeting him. He's all smiles there. He's all smiles. Okay, Sucharita, seems like he's had a good flight. There he is, all smiles. Yeah, let's see if we can pick up the audio.
If you want to click a photograph, yes.
So what we have been doing, sir, we went to Mach 1.25, just like in a seat, so comfortable.
Yeah, very
and then
comfortable.
we went to low level and we flew 100 foot, just in following at 550 knots, just using autopilot, and so comfortable. So, and we did some air-to-air with some targets up to 110 nautical miles, and we did an attack on an airfield, shooting 2 hammers. So I hope you enjoy your flight. It was an honor for me to be flying.
Yeah.
Just one
So there, the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh landing after taking a sortie in the Rafale fighter jet, and as Niranjan was saying, it seems he's had a good flight. Obviously, he's had a good flight and a very, very proud moment for India, because India gets its first Rafale from the French aviation company Dassault. Dassault Aviation has just handed over the first Rafale to Rajnath Singh, the Defence Minister. And there you see visuals of Rajnath Singh coming out of Rafale after taking a 29-minute sortie. It was a 29-minute sortie, but good enough to be able to make take India right at the top with that flight in Rafale. Rafale is now part of the Indian Air Force, and there you see Defence Minister Rajnath Singh after coming out of that sortie, 29 minutes in Rafale. And if I can tell you, it was being flown by Philippe Deschaux, who's the head test pilot of Dassault Aviation. So there the Defence Minister is speaking to the pilot who took him around for that 29-minute sortie on Rafale. And today being Vijay Dashmi, today being the day for victory of good over evil. So there is a clear message to the enemies of the country that here comes Rafale, which is going to be adding to the power of Indian Air Force. Remember, viewers, that ex-Air Chief B.S. Dhanua made it very clear that India requires Rafale. And now, with the first Rafale coming to India and being part of the Indian Air Force, the Indian Air Force only gets mightier. Those visuals from Bordeaux that are on your television screen, Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, right after that 29-minute sortie in Rafale, and now you see a happy smiling face for the Defence Minister, and it is a very, very proud and historic moment for the country. Rafale now being part of the Indian Air Force, and it is just going to make the Indian Air Force mightier. There was a 29-minute sortie, but a very historic moment for the country. Now, Rafale being part of the Indian Air Force, and we'd like to take you and just listen into what Rajnath Singh said right after that 29-minute sortie.
You want me to get it? So what we have been doing, sir, we went to Mach 1.25, just like in a seat, so comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable.
And then we went to low level, and we flew 100 foot, just in terrain following, at 550 knots, just using autopilot, and so comfortable, sir. And we did some air-to-air with some targets up to 110 nautical miles, and we did an attack on an airfield, shooting 2 hammers. So I hope you enjoy your flight. It was an honor for me to be flying.
Yeah.
So there, those visuals telling you that 35-minute story of the Rafale sortie that Rajnath Singh just took. He was there up in the air in Rafale, and a very historic moment for the country. I have Republic Media Network's executive editor Abhishek Kapoor joining me. Abhishek, those are, it seems he's smiling after that sortie. A very good flight, and definitely a flight that makes Indian Air Force mightier than before.
Oh yes, I mean he looks satisfied. I mean, and palpable excitement on the face of Rajnath Singh. He can you can see the thrill of having faced the pulse of 1G, 2G perhaps on his face. That thrill, the excitement of it all. But it goes beyond that momentary thrill or excitement, Sucharita, because India has gained a weapon system, not just a weapon platform, but a weapon system in Rafale and the suite of weapons that it brings on, which makes Indian Air Force a cutting-edge force in the region, which has added to tremendously added to its beyond visual range capacity. Just to explain in simple terms for our viewers, what this means is that next time a situation like Balakot arises where Indian Air Force has to take action, we need not cross the line of control. From within our territory, we can target those same Jaish-e-Mohammed camps. Also, because of its air-to-air refueling capacity that Rafale has, it can guide even stronger weapon platforms and take care of the enemy as the other aircrafts target the enemy. So essentially, what we are seeing is a security upgrade for India on Dussehra, on Vijay Dashmi, and something which was in the making for some time. It's good that after all the controversies, after all the problems that the deal faced, finally a day has come when India has its Rafale, and though of course it's some time before Indian Air Force pilots start flying in these fighter planes, because the first batch of 4 fighter planes would come in March of 2020, which is about 6 months away, and then of course the entire 2 squadrons, 36 aircrafts by sometime mid-2022. But the pictures speak for the excitement that the defense minister experienced, perhaps it's writ large on his face, and you know, it's a message that we have a political leadership that acts, and that acts decisively. And despite all the controversies that were surrounding the deal, when it became clear that India needs to strike this deal ASAP to keep its edge in the region in terms of air superiority, a decision was taken, and the political leadership decided that they will take all the turbulence in his stride, but rather go for strengthening the Indian Air Force. And that's what we have seen materializing today on the day of Vijay Dashmi and Dussehra. Remember, there would be controversy perhaps in some ways about the manner in which the Shastra Puja was done, but the opposition has to keep in mind that this is a tradition, a custom that has been there with the forces since the time they formed into a modern formation. And this Shastra Puja is integral to the culture, and it has to be seen as a cultural aspect of it rather than religious. Having said that, as of now, of course, the focus is on how from here on the training of pilots would go on for the next 6 months before the first batch of 4 Rafales arrives.
Oh, yes, Abhishek, and I'm reminded of the ex-Indian Air Force Chief B.S. Dhanwas reiterating in front of the media that Indian Air Force requires Rafale, and now that you're saying it is a decisive decision, and we remember in August the Prime Minister was in France, and this deal now materializing, and now India has Rafale. Let me go back to those visuals where after the 35-minute sortie, Rajnath Singh came out and spoke to the pilot who took him out on that flight.
There. You want me to get it? So what we have been doing, sir, we went to Mach 1.25, just like in a seat.
Yeah,
so comfortable.
Yeah, very
and then
comfortable.
we went to low level and